They say home is where the heart is, so I wonder why a motherfucker always feeling heartless.
Welcome to the very first episode of Doubly Negative. I'm Chris, I'm here with my friend Kyle, and today we are going to talk about depression. Let's make it fun.
Doubly negative, huh? Is that the choice?
It is the choice. I had consulted you about it, and you seemed cool with it, so I just ran with it.
Okay. This is the first time hearing that's the decision, but I like it. I do like that one.
I mean, it fits. I mean, we have this episode where we're talking about depression, and we have this super secret episode that we can't release until later about relationships and my divorce. So, when we get a Patreon, please subscribe.
The extra valuable episode.
Yeah, no, it's worth it. It's worth it.
Okay, so this one's about depression, and I did, you asked me what we wanted to talk about, and I mentioned this because it's a topic we talked about a little bit a couple weeks ago, but we never really got into it.
Yeah, and I think a big common misconception with depression is a lot of people will say, oh, my life is good. I can't be depressed. Why would I have nothing to be depressed over? But it's not as simple as that.
Definitely not. No. And before we started talking on air, we were you were saying like it's okay to be sad, it's normal to be sad. And something I wanted to talk about was like the difference between sad and depression.
Yeah.
You know, like have you experienced it yourself?
Depression?
Yes.
Yeah, and I think it took me a while to realize that because I thought I would go through phases where I was just more like bleh than usual. Mm-hmm. And then you think, oh, just chalk it up, bad day, I'm just sad today, like this happened, it could be this. But like I never really realized that I had issues with depression until recently. And that has nothing to do with the divorce or anything like that, but it was just I took a step back and I was like, well, maybe I'm depressed. Like, it's not normal to be sad this many days consecutively.
Right.
And I do a good job of, like, not hiding it, but I'm very good at just, like, moving forward. Like, I'm not going to let this ruin my day. I have stuff to do. So I didn't really realize it until recently.
I think that's really common. That's how it works for me, too. Usually when I realize I've been depressed, it's not like, oh, I feel depressed today. It's like, oh, I've been depressed for months.
And it takes going through those months of depression to look back and say, oh, something's not right here.
Yeah, because for me, and pretty much everything I say is just going to be for me because one thing I realized, I've been thinking about this stuff for a long time.
Yeah.
And one thing I've come to learn, and I learned this really deeply, is that one thing I used to do, and I think many people probably do, is they think what they feel is what other people feel too. So I'd always be thinking like, oh, I think other people feel this. But the truth is you really have no fucking idea what other people feel.
No.
So, I used to do that. I think, oh, people feel this way, but I feel this way. So for me, it's a long way to get here. For me, it comes subtly and gradually. So probably the first day I start getting it, it's like a 1% or less than a 1% shift. And that happens every day until like it's become normal, that feeling of being depressed.
And that's why it's hard to figure out because that feeling just feels normal to you. You think this is how I feel. And
it becomes normal, yeah, because it happens over a long period of time.
And it is a slow build too. Like life gets harder as days goes on sometimes. So like it's one of those things where all these little events start piling up. Oh, COVID, now I can't go out. Oh, lost my job because of COVID. And then all these things compound into this one big problem looming over your head.
Yep. And so I thought we were going to get to this too. I think it's a good idea to actually define depression.
You know what? I had that thought as well. I was going to ask you to do it. You're more well-versed than I am in this subject. Because like I said, I recently realized that I may be depressed in some way. So like I always thought it was normal. So I haven't really done much looking into it.
Well, I wouldn't have been able to do it either because I've looked into it before too, but I don't remember everything I read, and it's a really complex thing. Like, I think a lot of people might just feel like, oh, I feel depressed, but there's a lot of different symptoms and stuff, and unless you read about them, you wouldn't really know which is which and like be able to define it.
Yeah, and some of these symptoms you can chalk up to just like laziness.
Exactly.
Because you'll see like and I had no idea, like some of these symptoms where it's like, oh, if you find yourself like not like taking care of yourself, like you stop going to the gym, maybe showers become more infrequent, you know, your haircut, you let that go for a bit. And you can chalk that up to just, oh, I don't have time or I'm lazy. But that's a serious symptom of depression. Like you don't have the want or desire to actually take care of yourself.
Exactly. And yeah, I think it's great that you said that, because one thing that's really controversial about it is that some people think it's something that you can just change your mind about. Like, say, oh, I'm depressed, and somebody says, well, just look on the bright side or something, right?
Yeah.
And that's why we have this feeling like, it's kind of like a shameful feeling when you're depressed, because you feel like you've just been lazy, and then you feel like you're just doing less and less, and it compounds on itself, right?
Yep.
So anyway, there's 9 different symptoms in the DSM-5, which is the latest psychological manual. This is how they diagnose things. And you have to have 5 of these symptoms during the same 2-week period.
We'll go through the list and we'll just say check for the ones that we have.
Yeah.
For the interest of people listening.
Sure. So for the past 2 weeks, let's say,
Okay.
you have to have 5 of these 9. Number 1, depressed mood. Could also be irritable mood. Check.
Check. Yep. Check.
Diminished interest or loss of pleasure in almost all activities.
Check.
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 Significant weight change or appetite disturbance.
That's my whole life.
Yeah, me too.
I fluctuate so often, so I guess we'll say check, because
Check all the time.
that's been like a 29-year battle for me.
Dude, me too. My weight can change like 50 pounds up or down a year.
Yeah.
Almost every year.
We were both fatty, no friends, and then
Yep.
we were like, let's not do that. And we got skinny, and now I'm fluffy again. You're in great shape, but like,
Just always going. I'm never a stable.
there's
weight.
no
I'll say this.
consistent.
I'm either getting in really good shape or going back to bad shape.
If I see you in January and we don't see each other for a couple months, there's a chance that I'm gonna look fucking fantastic,
Yep.
or you're gonna see me looking fat, scraggly beard, no haircut,
Both of us.
and just sauce all
Yep.
over my shirts because I haven't
Barbecue
done
sauce.
laundry. Yeah.
Yep. So yeah, check for both of us. Sleep disturbance.
I'm so. Yeah. Check.
Check. Dude, I've been
Are we
going
4
to
for
sleep.
4?
Yeah. 4 for 4 so far.
Oh, God.
Lately I've been going to sleep. My sleep schedule is so bad. You know, it just gets worse and worse. Like, you start out going to bed at a respectable hour, and then you just stay up a little bit too late, and then a little bit... I went to bed at 5 a.m. last night.
I was at 3 a.m. and I had to
3
be up
a.m.
for work at 6.
That's bad, dude.
I am on 3 hours of sleep right now.
That's awful.
Yeah.
Man, so we're the same, except I'm just more lazy than you. I slept until 2.
Yeah. Oh no, I was literally almost finishing up my shift at that point.
Yeah, so sleep disturbance, psychomotor agitation or retardation. So I guess that's going to be like your reflexes and stuff being slower. I can't say
check for that.
Actually, you know what? I can. I noticed going to the gym, it gradually got harder.
Yeah.
And
see, someone like me, I would be like, I'm just not as strong. Old age. I didn't eat well today.
that's exactly what I'm
Like-
feeling. Dude, we were talking about it. I have this pain that I've had lately, and Chris is saying maybe sciatica. I don't know. But it's just a pain that I didn't have before, and now I have it. And I'm like, oh, I'm getting old. But it could just be this type of thing. Like, my body works better when I'm in a better mood. And right now, dude, I go to the gym sometimes, and I don't do anything like what I could do before.
Oh no, it comes down to like consistency too. Like, if you go regularly, your skills aren't going to diminish as fast as they would if it's like, okay, I'll go once a week even.
Yep.
So like, I went from being a powerlifter that had pretty respectable numbers in my eyes,
Quite respectable.
to now like I got back into lifting again, and they're nowhere near.
Mm-hmm.
And it's one of those things. It kind of sucks because you're like,
It sucks.
this is hard to lift, and I used to do double this, no problem.
Dude, Pete and I have this long-running joke. This is a long joke. But so Pete and I started powerlifting in college. I don't even know what year.
Was that when he was doing the Go Mad diet?
Yes.
That was the one time Pete had a belly.
We were making gains.
Yeah, dude. He was drinking a gallon of milk a day.
A gallon of milk a day. Go Mad. That's what it stands for. Yeah. And he got strong, too.
He did.
And that's the thing. That was like, dude, that was like 10 years ago? I don't even know. It was closer to 10 years than 5. Anyway.
At Anytime Fitness, right? Because I remember we would go there sometimes.
You were iGym first.
Yeah.
Like way back then. And then anytime we lifted a lot of gyms together.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we started that long ago. We got kind of strong, and then we both just stopped or whatever. Life got in the way, or we got lazy. So every time we talk about it, we're like, dude, if we were consistent 10 years ago, dude, how much progress can you make in 10 years?
By now,
I could be squatting 600.
Yeah.
I could easily be squatting 600.
it just takes
With
consistency.
consistency, yep, but just isn't there. So I continually get up to the same semi-respectable number and then fall back and then get there and fall back. That's been my life anyway.
And that's like with anything. Like if you just do something, even if you're mediocre, if you do it consistently for a long period of time, you're going to get good at it.
But the consistency part is obviously the problem.
That's the toughest part because, you know, work, different life events, like you just get busy. Sometimes you're lazy. Sometimes you're depressed and you don't want to go. You don't have the want to go and do anything.
For me, I can only blame depression. I can only say that it's depression because I have no other excuse. My job has never gotten in the way. Family's never gotten in the way. I'm either motivated, which is when I'm not depressed. Like weightlifting's fun.
Yeah.
I want to do it. I want to get progress. It feels good.
Yeah.
But then when I'm depressed, it just stops feeling good, and all of a sudden I can think of anything else to do except that. Right?
Yeah. And even when you think of those things to do, most of the time you're just going to sit around and scroll your phone and do absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That's in my case. That's at least the case.
So yeah, still making it through this list.
Oh yeah, we kind of went off the rails there.
That's cool though. Okay, so we're up to.
We were 4 for 5.
If we count psychomotor agitation,
You're at 5 for 5. If that's,
I'm not sure if that's. I don't know what that means exactly.
we'll say 4.5 out of 5.
Okay. Fatigue or loss of energy.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's like number 1.
100%.
Okay. Feelings of worthlessness.
Yup.
Check. Diminished ability to think or concentrate. Indecisiveness. Yeah.
Yeah. I could say that. That one's tough.
Even answering, we're both like.
Yeah, we're indecisive. Yeah, we don't.
That's so funny.
I guess maybe.
Yeah, so check.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
a clear and obvious
And
check.
now the big one. So this one does not have to be present, but it counts as one of the 5 you could have. Recurrent thoughts of death, recurrent suicidal ideation without a specific plan, or a suicide attempt or a specific plan for committing suicide.
I can't say check for that.
That's the tough one. And this one...
I would never have the balls to ever do that.
See, this is the difference between suicidal ideation and planning, right? So ideation is without a specific plan. So do you ever just kind of like, I just wish I was dead?
I sometimes fantasize about my own death, but I not me ever doing it to myself. I mean, there have been times where I've thought, man, it would be so much easier if I just didn't have to do this.
Yeah, so that doesn't... I'm not even sure, to be honest with you. Like, I don't know this stuff that well.
Yeah.
But that is the type of feeling that I think... I definitely have that.
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of people have that, but we're ashamed to even admit it.
Yeah. And sometimes I chalk it up, oh, you're just being dramatic, dude. It's a bad day.
Exactly. But anyway, so again, back to this list. We absolutely have 5 of them, both of us. We easily checked 5 of them.
Yeah.
And that is the... that's how to tell. Like, do you have those things? Then you can probably say you're feeling depressed. And then the next step is, how much is it fucking with you? And I know you started to talk about prescription drugs. You started that topic earlier.
Yeah, so I'm kind of split on my stance because I know, like, there are some cases where you absolutely need to be put on medication.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think having these emotions is normal. Like, being scared is normal. Being nervous is normal. Being sad is normal. And I don't necessarily think you need to be put on medication because you're feeling sad.
What do you think about how you're feeling right now? So we both admitted that we check at least 5 of those. Mm-hmm. So that counts as basically clinical depression. Mm-hmm. Right now you don't feel like maybe you should try something.
No, because I think you can find solace in, like, I'm not putting in much of an effort to fix these things. And I know being depressed makes it harder to fix these things, but I can always do things to make me feel better. Like go to jujitsu.
Mhm.
That's something where if I go, even if I don't want to go, when I leave, I've never not been happy that I went. I'm always like, thank God I went and did this today.
Yep.
Because I did not want to go at all. But when you go, no matter what, you're going to feel, okay, I did something, like I was active, like I wasn't a lazy piece of shit. I didn't just play video games.
That's perfect. Yeah, I think that's so. What you're describing there is like optimism.
Yeah.
So you still believe it's easy to get out. You can easily see yourself turning it around.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I don't think everyone in the world has that capability either. There are some people that don't handle things as well as others.
Well, that's what it's about. And I would say it might not be the person, but the level of severity of the depression, too.
Yeah. Definitely.
So personally, I've felt many different, like, if you can do depression, like, 1 to 10, right? I think I've felt maybe all the way up to 7 or 8.
Yeah.
And all the way back, like, I've experienced 1, like, same as you right now, I'm probably not that high in my own scale.
Yeah.
Because I have that same thing, optimism, I can turn it around.
Yeah.
But I've also gone further down.
I feel like the higher up the scale you go, the optimism factor comes out of it.
Exactly.
Completely.
That's the thing, and that's why I'm saying it might not be like, I don't think it's like a weak person versus a strong person thing.
No, it has nothing to do with weak or strong. It's just some people, you know, if someone's dealt with stuff like that for a while, then like you're going to be more, like you can turn it around quicker because you've been dealing with that. But that's also necessarily not true either. See, I'm a moron. So like sometimes you can get to those points where you're so beaten down, even if you've been going through it for a while, you can't get out of it. So I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
That's why I kind of love this topic, because if you don't think about it deeply, you could have all these misconceptions. And it starts right at the top level where like people think, oh, if you're depressed, just work out harder, or you know, they give you some bullshit advice.
Yeah, because
and you know that's bullshit.
And you always get that type of advice from people that haven't been in your shoes.
Yep. And now, like, as we go farther and deeper into the topic, you're like, is it even because of that? You know, like, that's awesome that you're figuring that out. And, like, I have that same thing.
I'll think I know what I'm talking about, and then I think about it a little more, and I'm like, I have no fucking clue what I'm talking about. And, like, that's why this is so hard to diagnose and figure out how to fix.
Yeah, because, so we were talking about... So you think you're probably not severe, you probably don't need medication. It's probably better for you not to take medication right now.
Yeah.
Because you feel like you can still do it, which is optimism, and I would agree with you. If you don't feel like you need medication, then I think it would be a bad idea.
Yeah, like, I don't have debilitating depression by any means. Like, I can get out of bed, I've been exercising a lot more, and I've been doing things to keep myself busy and doing things that make me happy, and, like, I feel myself getting better. You know?
Yep.
Like, I see light at the end of the tunnel. But sometimes optimism, for some people, you don't get to that light no matter how much optimism you try to put into your life.
Well, I think I was at that point probably at least once in my life. It's probably 3 years ago.
Really?
Yep. Right before I moved away from Texas, I was really depressed.
And was there, like, a series of life events that led you to get to that depressed? Or, like, was it just something that it just happened?
See, this is why... So this is something me and Steve, actually, we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
For like 15 years.
Steve's a great guy.
Yeah. So we're very aware of our own cycles and what's going on, because we talk about it all the time.
Yep.
And before that depression, 2017, I had always been able to rationalize, like, oh, it's because I graduated and I didn't have a job. And I would say, that's why. Or, oh, it's because this happened, that's why. But this was the first one and the worst one I ever experienced, where I was like, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what this is. Because I was really happy before that. I was doing great. That was when Steve and I were doing the podcast in Texas.
Yep.
We were working out all the time. I was going to jiu-jitsu all the time. And then I just got depressed. But again, gradually, like, I just stopped feeling as happy, and then I felt kind of normal. And then all of a sudden it was hard to go to jiu-jitsu, and then all of a sudden I didn't care about jiu-jitsu, until I get to the point where I really, I actually sought out a doctor, but I didn't end up taking pills.
No.
I was close.
Yeah.
And then I moved to Mexico, and then I got better. But that was the one time I reached that point, and the difference, I think, is I did not have any optimism at that point.
Yeah.
I could not see turning it around, because what you have right now and what I have right now too is you see, like, oh, those things are good for us, we should do them.
Yep.
I didn't fucking care. I was like, maybe that'd be good for me, but I don't even care.
Yeah, like
and that's how I knew it was like that bad.
So I kind of want to circle back to something you said in the beginning, where you're trying to rationalize your depression. So when you say, "Oh, it's because of this, it's because of that," it's similar to someone that's addicted to like alcohol or nicotine, right? I'm gonna quit drinking. Oh, I had a great day at work, and like the football game's on.
Yep.
So I'm gonna have a drink. You know what I mean? Like trying to rationalize, like, oh, like I can quit tomorrow. Like it's kind of similar to what you were doing with depression, where you're trying to rationalize why you're depressed. There's this addict who's rationalizing why they're going to their vice, even though they're trying to stop.
Yeah, I think that's true. There's a lot of denial.
Yeah.
Right? Like, not really knowing what's going on.
And trying to rationalize it, and like, this is normal.
Yeah, and that's what happens when you go through it your whole life. Because for me, I've experienced it consistently. Like, it'll come and go for me.
Yeah.
Do you think same for you, or was this a new thing for you this year?
I feel like I was a pretty happy kid, like growing up, but I was always a very nervous kid. I was very much a mama's boy, and anytime like she didn't answer the phone, I assumed she was dead, and I was always super anxious, like
Anxiety.
all the time. And I went to a doctor when I was a kid, and it was only for like a few visits, but I felt like it helped. But I don't know if my childhood anxiety has led me to where I am now.
Did you have panic attacks?
I wouldn't say full-blown panic attacks. Like, I had, like, typical, like, kid hissy fits.
Okay.
Like, there was one time, for instance, I was dropped off at the movies with my cousin. We get out of the movie, no one answers. I start bawling my eyes out, freaking out. But not, like, full-blown, like, like, hyperventilating panic attacks.
Damn. And then, growing up, you're just fine.
Yeah, I mean, like, stuff happened with my family along the lines, and I always chalked it up to, oh, I'm just sad, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, I just chalked it up to, oh, it's just a tough time, it'll get better. So I never really recognized it. Like I told you, I didn't really even think about the possibility of me being depressed until, like, I actually looked at the symptoms, and I was like, oh. And I was actually looking it up for someone else. Like, maybe they're depressed. And I looked it up, and I was like, oh,
Really?
This is kind of me.
Were you looking at that same list, probably?
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. Interesting.
So that's when I was like, oh, I think I'm depressed, I guess.
Damn.
But it just felt so normal that I didn't ever think that I could have possibly been depressed.
I think there's got to be tons of people like that then, right?
There's got to be so many people like that.
Yeah.
And especially, like, our generation of males is, like, taught, like, oh, don't show your feelings, you're a pussy.
Mm-hmm.
And that leads to a lot of people just bottling things up inside of them and then just one day coming to that breaking point.
Yeah.
Like, I never in a million years, if you had asked me in high school if I would ever be sitting down with a friend recording myself talking about depression, I would say no way, I'd never be able to show my face again. So feeling like you can't reach out to somebody or talk to somebody about it.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Of course.
So I think that's like a massive problem with a lot of people because they don't know they're depressed, but it's affecting them every day.
Yeah, and like they're not even open to it. Like to
No,
let that thought even like, might I be depressed? No, of course not.
I'm not depressed. I got to be strong. I got to be a man
Right.
for my family.
That makes perfect sense. And then if you don't, how would you know if you don't look it up?
Like I had no idea.
How would you know?
You wouldn't know. You would just chalk it up to this is normal day-to-day behavior.
Yeah,
Life
and
just sucks.
and also like when you look around you, it seems pretty normal to be in a pretty bad mood all the time.
Yeah,
Like most people seem to be in a pretty bad mood.
all the time.
So that's another reason why like it would also just, if you don't think about it and you're not open to it, it just seems normal.
Yeah. Another thing about that is, though, I feel like just like when you're in public, you're more amped up as it is and closed off to the public. So maybe this is me rationalizing it again, but I just chalk it up as them to not wanting to deal with other people.
Yeah, of course.
So, but I do see what you're saying, where I feel like a lot of people are depressed and don't realize it.
Probably.
Because if you don't know the symptoms, what do you, like, it's just, oh yeah, normal. This is what happens.
Yeah.
Do you feel like there's been an increase in depression with this generation as opposed to past generations, like your parents, your parents' parents? Do you feel like it's more prevalent now than it was then? Or do you think it was just underdiagnosed because we didn't know as much?
That's the exact, that's well framed. Yeah, those are the two theories. One is that so they have noticed the rates are increasing.
Mm-hmm.
there's data on that, but and you said it yourself. Like, is it just because more people are getting diagnosed now, or is it because something is causing it? I think probably something is. I think probably depression really is going up.
I think so too.
Probably.
But it's impossible to ever do those studies because just the data doesn't go together.
Personally, I don't know. Yeah. But I think, even though it's really cliche and obvious, but the smartphone stuff has to...
It's so huge.
It has to be making a big impact.
Because so many people are just looking for that validation online. And if they don't get that validation, they do things to get that. Like, they'll...
Yeah.
Oh, man, maybe it's because I'm chunky. I gotta lose weight or blah, blah, blah. Like,
the validation thing is a huge one, a really, really big one. But I think it's just there's so many different ways and reasons to be addicted. And I think it's addiction. You know, you mentioned earlier the addiction thing. I think it's just... If you're using one of those when you're a kid, you're addicted to something without even having a chance.
yeah, literally, because your parents just threw that in your face to keep you quiet.
Yeah, you never had a chance.
Yeah. And it's just always having something you can go to. Like, I feel like people are never alone in their own thoughts ever anymore.
No.
They're always with somebody, and I'm guilty of it too, where like I'm bored, I don't necessarily want to look at anything, but I don't want to be in my own head, so I'm just going to scroll mindlessly.
I do it every night.
Every single night.
Every night.
Even when I should be going to sleep, I'm like, maybe I should just look and see what's going on in the world and read something.
You know what's fucked up? I even meditate every day. I always meditate 20 minutes a day. So I'm like trying to be more aware and whatever, right?
Yep.
But then I have a bunch of hours to myself at night before I go to sleep, and I just do the opposite of meditation, where I just fill my mind with something, look at my phone, and then if I get off my phone, like it's an exaggeration to say I panic and look for something else, but it's also kind of true.
Yeah.
It's like, whoa, what am I going to do?
Yeah.
Should I read or should I watch something? Or
I'll put something on the TV.
Yeah,
Even when you put something on the TV, you're like, they're not giving me enough information to fill my head. I'm going to go look at my phone again.
That's addiction, right?
It is.
And if we, when did that hit? We were a little bit older.
Yeah, because I remember having like the Nokia brick, and that was a different kind of addiction. That was like Snake is really cool. I'm going to play Snake all the time.
Yeah, that's
but it's not the same as digesting all of this information. Lots of the information you read is just bad. Because media, that's what gets clicks. So people just put out bad information, and you fill your head with all this tragedy and horror. And how does that affect what's going on in people's heads? You just think this world is fucked, we're doomed.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
So you just have this device at all times that's like... So we both agree it's fucking you up. And
yes.
People are growing up... Yeah, so... yeah, we're probably done.
Yeah.
It's probably over.
the lack of, like, social interaction and stuff, too. Like, even being in quarantine, like, in the beginning of COVID and everything, like... When we were allowed to like go out and do stuff again, I like didn't know how to talk to people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like we were talking about diminishing skills, like lifting. If you don't lift every day, if you don't talk to the public on a daily basis, like that's a skill that you can lose.
Absolutely,
it's a skill you can lose, and I've noticed that mine is slipping, especially going into the dating world after being married and in a relationship for 6 years. And then in quarantine, to never talking to anybody else, to I have to try to make this girl think I'm cool.
Dude, I absolutely understand where you're going from with that.
It's brutal.
That's crazy, yeah. Yeah, I got home from Indonesia November 30th, I think.
Yep.
No, not October. I left on Halloween.
Okay.
And I got back in early November. Anyway.
Great band, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Go on.
And I was dating. I had sex the day I left.
Okay.
And then I got home and I was like, I'm just not going to date. It's been like 3.5, 4 months now. I have not talked to girls. I just have not done it. And now I'm completely empathized with what you're saying. I just feel like I cannot do it anymore. I feel like I must have forgotten.
So I'm going to be honest with you. When you started that story, I thought you meant like you were dating this one specific girl, then you got here and you said, I'm not going to date. And I thought you were going to say, and I 3 or 4 months and I haven't talked to her at all. And I was like, you are such a piece of shit. No. Give her some closure. She thinks you're dead.
That happened too, but...
Oh. Yeah.
No, but anyway, yeah, so I just went from having that skill to not having that skill.
Yeah.
And it's like anything else. It happens slowly, day by day. Just a little bit worse, and then a little bit worse, and then a little bit worse.
Every day. I felt like I was so smooth online before,
Mm-hmm.
and now I feel like a boomer, the one that takes a selfie where you see only half the face and the glasses, and I put a corny Facebook banner over it.
Just starting over again.
Yeah. So, it is a tough road to go down.
Starting over again sucks, man.
But it's also exciting. It's so exciting.
Well, with dating especially, yes.
Yes.
But especially with fitness for me, it's also exciting. You're starting again. But
It destroys your ego.
and you're just like, I was already here before.
Yeah.
Why didn't I just not?
Yeah.
Why didn't I just keep going?
So this is exactly how I felt the other day.
And also, like, sometimes I feel like I don't realize how fat I've gotten until I start losing weight. And I'm like, oh my god, I got so fat. I didn't even realize.
Usually it takes me like seeing a picture at a bad angle and I'm like, I gotta do something quick.
Fuck.
This is
Yeah.
not okay.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
It sucks because, and this is also so cliche, but you gain it slowly over time. No, I'm sorry. You lose it really slowly over time.
Yeah.
But you can gain so fast.
Yeah.
So if you just have a bad month, you're fucked.
Dude.
It's like 6 months of progress.
Even I feel like at this
Gone.
age, if I have a bad couple days,
Yeah.
I'm fucked.
It sucks.
There are some days I wake up and I'm like, oh, you're looking like you're trimming up a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, have some beer tonight.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You got chips and queso in the fridge? Indulge.
So this kind of loops back into the whole depression thing. Because I would say for myself, this is something I've experienced regularly for as long as I can remember.
Yeah, we kind of trailed off a little bit. You were
Yeah.
talking about like going through childhood with depression and experiencing regularly, and then we just went off the rails for like 10
Well, no,
minutes.
I think it works well because it circles back to the whole question I'm forming. It's like, that happens regularly, what we just talked about.
Yeah.
Like just gaining a bunch of weight.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm saying that's depression, and that's happened to me so many times, it almost makes me think that I should definitely do something about it.
You think medicine would be something that you'd want to go like that path you want to go down?
I've never even talked to a therapist. I tried a couple times. And recently I've been thinking about it.
I called the therapist like 2 weeks ago and left a message, and they never called me back. So clearly not the one for the job.
So we're both in the exact same position again. We've thought about it, but we've never actually done it.
Yeah, and I could have followed up with another call. I could have looked for another therapist, but I didn't. I said that didn't work. Okay, I'll figure it out.
And for me too, that's harder when I'm depressed too, because when in that 2017, the really bad one, I was thinking about calling a therapist for a long time, but I just couldn't do it. I was too afraid, and the depression makes everything harder to do.
So you've never actually talked to a therapist before?
No.
Really?
So that would be step one, absolutely.
Yeah, I've always preached. I think even if you're not depressed, I think everyone needs a life coach and someone with an unbiased ear to just hear your problems and give
Life
them.
coach.
As life coach, I mean like therapist.
Oh.
Just
I
someone.
just got so mad because I just think of like life coaches, like fucking life coaches.
Yeah.
No way.
You were ready to walk out of
I
here.
was ready to go.
No, I mean like a therapist, someone to talk to that like is unbiased to all these situations. They can take what you say, dissect it, and give you their opinion.
So you preach it, but you've never actually done it.
Never done, not once.
Me too. I know it's a good idea, but I've never actually
It's a
done
great idea.
it. Indecisiveness.
Instead, we decided to start a podcast and talk about our problems, so we don't have to go to a therapist.
Dude, life coaches. That's just stuck in my head now. There's so many of those in Bali. Dude, I gotta tell you a quick story about life coaches. So, I used to go to this cafe all the time, and there's this other guy that I used to talk to all the time there.
Yep.
And one day he came in and he's like, I met the most amazing girl. She's a life coach. She changes people's lives. She's so magnetic. People just gravitate towards her. Like, she's just amazing. The one thing is, she just can't get her finances in order. She just needs money to get to the next step. And some other guy goes, sounds like she needs a life coach.
Yeah.
And that, like, when I think of life coaches, I'm sorry, but that's what I think of. I just think of, like, those people that their whole job is having, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what
I'm
talking
so
about,
good
right?
at life. I'm going to teach you how to do it, but I just can't get my money straight.
Yeah.
Sounds like a scam, lady.
There's just so many of those things online that it's just like that. Like, your whole, her way to get her life in order is to help you get your life in order. So it's kind of like a pyramid scheme of self-improvement.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm sensitive to that stuff. But yeah, therapy's a good idea.
Yeah, no, therapy is a good idea. And who's that guy? Gary...
Vaynerchuk?
I fucking hate that guy.
Me too.
I hate him so much. Just go fucking do it, man.
Yeah.
Dude, shut up.
He's the type of guy we're talking about that just like doesn't understand. He does not understand real depression. You can tell just from listening to his videos.
Yeah.
Like,
I made it myself, man.
just do it.
Yeah. Shut up.
Shut up.
Yeah, like he's so fucking cringe. And I remember like the first like couple videos I saw his, I was like, this guy, you know what? Yeah, go do it.
No, he's really good at it.
Yeah, no, he's
I've
good
watched
at
a lot of his stuff.
You subscribe to his YouTube channel?
I'm a fan of his, but I
You have a Gary Vee tat on your back?
dude, I like him.
Yeah.
No, he's smart.
I think he's definitely smart. He bothers me. I think it's just because I see him so often now that I'm forced to hate him.
Yep, probably what it is.
Well, I don't know. Because it's not that easy for everybody. You can't just go fucking do it.
That's actually probably a great thing to talk about because so when you are depressed, you see guys like Gary Vee or any number of guys doing any sort of things like that on social media. They're trying to sell some sort of make you feel better.
Mm-hmm.
That's what all those programs, no matter what they're for, whether they're for finances or fitness and nutrition, whatever they are, the first thought is I'm going to feel better if I do this.
Yeah.
So if you're depressed and you're not really open and understanding and you're not learning about it, you might see something like that and think, oh, this is the answer.
Yeah.
And just waste your money
Yeah.
when probably you should do something more like therapy.
Yeah, definitely. But, you know, it's even if you're wasting your money, it's a good sign that you're willing to do something to help it. Like that's an important step. You're willing to try something. Granted, you may be dumb and you tried the wrong thing.
Yep.
But at least you tried, you failed, now try something else. Like you learned from that.
Yeah, and you gotta go through it to learn from it. Even just hearing somebody else say it and you think, oh, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
You still have to experience it yourself to learn from it.
Yeah.
But that is like, so when we're talking about misunderstanding depression,
Mm-hmm.
I used to think that way when I was a lot younger. Like, I would feel kind of depressed, or I didn't even know it was depression. I would just kind of feel bad. And I would see, like, for example, working out was the first thing where I was like, I need to get fit, and then I won't be depressed.
Yeah.
That was my first, like, I was always depressed because I was a fat kid, and I was like, okay, if I get fit, then I won't be depressed anymore. And then I did get fit, and I felt good, but then I got depressed again.
I feel like you always need that next thing.
I was like, oh, that's not the answer. So I think if you don't really understand depression or what you're feeling, you might think there's an answer. I'm being pretty bleak right now, huh?
No, but honestly, there may not be an answer to it. In
That's
some
what I
cases,
feel
there
like.
are no answers.
That's kind of what I feel like. I think it's something that just comes back.
Yeah. Like you go in remission for a while, so
Yep.
to speak. Next thing you know, another thing happens and things just pile on. I think it's important to take these like negative experiences in your life and use those as not so much motivation, learning experiences, and just being like understanding that you're going to be stronger for going through that. That's
Yeah.
how I get through a lot of the stuff. I say, okay, like stuff with my family. I learned a lot like about like don't trust anyone. Even though that's a terrible thing to think, I have like a horrible time, like a very hard time trusting people. I'm very skeptical of everyone's ulterior motives.
Sure.
And that's from stuff with my parents. But I say, okay, I learned from that. Like I'm better from that. Like I can deal with more pain because I went through that. So I almost use that as like a shield.
It makes sense, though.
But I also feel like kind of a sociopath because I feel like numb to a lot of things.
You're definitely a sociopath.
Yeah, no, confirmed. But like there are certain things that happen to me that are terrible and it won't affect me at all.
Like what?
I lost 2 people in my family this year.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't cry once and I felt, why aren't I like more upset about this? This person was a big part of my life. Why aren't I more upset about this?
I had that, too. I wonder how common that is.
Even with this divorce, I was like, I should be more broken. Everyone that's talked to me has said, you really don't sound like someone that's going through a divorce right now.
Interesting.
And it doesn't bother me. But on the other hand, I'll stumble across a video of a dog like reuniting with someone that went to Iraq for 6 months and they're super happy, and then I'll bawl my eyes out.
Yeah.
I don't understand it at all.
I can relate to that, too. I've had that same thing happen.
Where you just don't get affected by like terrible experiences and you feel bad for not feeling worse.
Yeah, especially losing people in your life. I've had that happen and not feel anything and wonder, like, do I feel something?
Yeah.
And you can feel really bad. You can feel guilty for not feeling like you feel anything.
Yeah.
I have that, too.
You feel like you almost need to like force force it.
I wonder what that is exactly. I wonder if that's like, is there really no emotion, or is it repression and it's just inside, or...
It could be, but I think when you're dealing with depression, even if it's sadness, you lose the ability to feel.
Well said.
Even if it is something that's going to make you more sad, you lose the ability to be able to let that affect you.
I think that's true.
Because you don't feel fucking anything.
I think that's true, yeah.
That's my takeaway. That was my explanation for it. Like, maybe I just can't feel anything.
Yeah. Sounds like Linkin Park lyrics, but...
I know.
That is what it is. Yeah.
Wake me up inside.
Exactly.
Literally a Linkin Park lyric.
No, that's so true. Yeah, you just get less...
Even though it's something that's going to make you sad, even though it's something that is playing into what you're feeling already, it doesn't affect you because you're already beyond the point of caring. If depression was a scale, this right here is how you would feel. For the listeners at home, I'm using my hands as a scale here. On top is the hand. This is how you feel when this person dies. When you're a normal, like, mood level, you're not depressed. Then you're sad.
Yep.
But when this happens, you're already down here.
Ah, okay. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, if losing a loved one is minus 30 happiness, but you're already at a minus 40, it's not going to register.
Yeah. What's another cup of water while you're drowning?
I like that. That's very well set up. It's perfect.
And you know what? You just proved you're depressed because you said you like that. I like that. Yeah, I'm at negative 40. It's just, that's why it's so hard to diagnose and treat, because everyone is different. Everyone's mind works different. And there's just so many variables.
Yeah. For me, learning more about it actually helps a lot, though.
It helped you feel better about being depressed, knowing more about depression?
Yes.
How so?
Because it's like a self-awareness thing.
Yeah.
Reading in general, for me, is big, like, with... so anything I read, if I relate to it, that makes... Either you're learning something new, or you're relating to something, and you say, oh, I feel that too, or, yeah.
And you feel that sense of someone's with me.
Yes.
We feel the same, I'm not alone.
Exactly. And then reading specific stuff about depression, like, for instance, that list, having those words to put to the feelings, or whatever they are, I can see it, and it seems less... It's almost like if there's a monster in a scary movie, and you don't know what it looks like,
It's almost scarier.
Yes.
Cloverfield.
Exactly. Cloverfield's a good movie.
Yeah.
I watched 10 Cloverfield Lane, too, the other night. It was pretty good, too.
It's pretty solid. That's one with John Goodman.
Yes. He's great in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great movie. He's also good in Red State. Have you ever seen that?
I'm pretty sure I have, but I can't remember.
Kevin Jones? Jay and Silent Bob.
No, I didn't see it.
Who's the director? Is it Kevin Jones? Kevin Smith?
Smith, yeah.
Kevin Smith. So he directs this, but it's like a thriller movie.
Okay.
And it's about, like, this crazy church cult that kidnaps these kids and them trying to get out of it. So I like when directors such as Kevin Smith, known for, like, Jay and Silent Bob, like, you do, like, shit and dick jokes.
Yep.
And then they do something serious and it comes out great. Like, it was an awesome movie.
I love John Goodman, too, so I'll watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
He doesn't have a big part till the end, but it's a good fucking movie.
You know, every time I see John Goodman in something, I'll go through the same thing. I just go, I thought he was dead. I was like, oh no, he died in Roseanne. Did you watch that show?
No, I didn't. No, it was Roseanne he died in?
Yeah.
That's John Goodman's life, actually. It's just Roseanne.
I thought he was dead, and then he's not. It happens every time.
That's too funny.
Oh yeah, he was like, no, he's not like that. I was talking about the monster thing again. But anyway, yeah. So if I know more about it, then I can kind of see it, and it's less scary.
Yeah, no, definitely.
And also easier to know where you're at. Like we were talking about before, we both feel like optimistic about the future, so we're probably okay.
Yeah.
Right. And being able to recognize that versus being able to recognize the other thing, it makes it less dangerous too, I think.
Yeah, because like you have that optimism, and you know I have to do this in order to get to that light at the end of the tunnel.
Right.
So, yeah, like I take like small victories every day. You know what I mean? Like, oh, got to work on time. Small victory. Made my bed before I left. You know,
That stuff's really
worked
important.
out. Like
Yeah.
it's the small little milestones you set for yourself.
Yeah.
Even if it's do 30 push-ups by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
You set that milestone, you hit that goal, and then you're more inclined to set more goals for yourself.
Yep.
And I think that's very important when you're trying to get out of a rut, is setting small, achievable goals that you can hit on a daily basis and slowly work your way up to these bigger goals to get you to the point where you want to be.
It's great advice. Yeah, I have stuff like that. And so there's two things I can relate that back to depression with is like, when I'm feeling pretty good, it's so easy to get those things done, right?
So easy.
But then when you're feeling pretty depressed, they become harder and harder and harder, right?
Yeah.
So even just noticing that they're getting harder could help you too. Be more aware of like, oh, maybe I have to make an extra effort. Or...
Time to push a little harder here.
Yeah, if that's possible, yeah.
And I think that's why, like, even with jiu-jitsu, I'll sign up for competitions even if I'm not ready, because I know it'll kick my ass into gear. Like, I have to get ready for this.
That's great advice too.
Or I'm going to get fucked up. I have to lose weight.
Advice, yeah.
I'll sign up for a weight class lower than the one I'm currently in. I'll have to drop 10, 15 pounds, whatever it is, and it puts me on the right track.
Some of the best times of my life have been before competitions, actually, now that I think about it. You get in a different headspace. Like, you're more worried about that competition, like, in a few months or whatever, and everything else in life just seems easier.
I like it and I don't. I like it because it puts me on that, like, straight path, like, okay, time to get fucking serious. But at the same time, it consumes my life.
Yeah.
Not even just, like, getting ready for it, but mentally.
Yeah.
It's all I think about. I get sick at night, like, I lose sleep. And then, like, day before the competition, I'm up all night, can't sleep. I have to cut weight the next day.
Yeah.
So I have to worry about, like, not eating or drinking until I weigh in. And then I have to worry about fighting another person.
I'm not that bad. Yeah, it just didn't bother me that much. I was just excited about it.
The thing is, though, for me, when you step out onto the mat and they say, okay, like, the bell rings, all that anxiety, anything in my mind is gone.
Sure.
I have one thing on my mind, and it's not getting murdered by the guy across from me.
Yeah, because before that, you were projecting into the future about all these things that could happen, just constantly thinking about it, and now all of a sudden you're doing it, so you're not thinking about it anymore.
Yeah, and it's just...
And you feel better.
And there's not many things in my life that I've done that can completely clear my head of absolutely everything.
Yeah.
Because it's like high-stakes chess. Like, you're thinking of the next move you're going to do, while also trying to defend what they're doing, and just trying to survive. And, like, that you can't afford to think of anything else.
Yeah. It's great. Jiu-Jitsu's great.
Yeah.
In fact, I think if you have a podcast, you have to say Jiu-Jitsu's great. Pretty much everyone.
Yeah. Oos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So, yeah. But the thing is, like, lately I haven't been going as much, and I don't know if it's because it's hard to get me there. I've been going and lifting with our friend down the road.
Yep.
But that's 2 minutes away. That's a lot easier for me than driving a half hour to the gym and rolling.
Yeah. There's another lesson in that, too. Like, make it easier for you. Because I have the same thing. Like...
Exactly.
There's a few different levels of what I could do. Like, I could go to jiu-jitsu, or I could go to the gym, or I could work out at home.
Yeah.
And just do the one you can do at the time.
Make it easy for yourself
Make it
at
easy
first.
for yourself, yeah.
And then really start to challenge yourself when you get in that groove.
Yep.
That's great advice, too. I never even really thought of it that way, where set the easy goals first.
Yeah. If you had a home gym, like, if you had your own home gym, how badass would that be?
I would love it.
That's goals.
Would absolutely love it. Yeah. A nice power rack. There we go. Luckily, I have one 2 minutes down the road at Pseudo's house.
Yeah, I gotta see that.
Yeah, it's a nice little setup. We get everything we need to get done there.
Said he's got a squat rack, right?
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. But damaging my ego because I'm not squatting when I used to squat at all.
Just keep at it.
Yeah, whatever. I want to kind of circle back because we were talking about movies. I know we weren't talking about being depressed and watching movies, but I feel like all of the content that I consume, whether it's music or movies, is super depressing shit.
You're an emo boy.
Sad Boys Club.
Yep. Sad Boys Club.
And I think, I don't know what, like, all my music, super depressing.
Yep.
All my favorite movies, I've been like, oh, watch this movie. And then, like, afterwards they're like, hey, you alright? I'm like, you good?
I can completely relate to that too.
Like, I tell people, oh, I love Blue Valentine. Have you ever seen Blue Valentine? Ryan Gosling. Great movie.
Yeah.
But you're not going to feel good after you watch it.
I watched in Eternal Sunshine
Of the Spotless Mind. Great
Last
movie
week.
as well.
That's
Was
one
it
of
for the
most
first time?
depressing- No. Rewatching it.
Okay.
Super depressing.
Yeah.
But great movie.
Great
Loved
movie.
it.
Watch Blue Valentine. I think it's on Netflix.
Yeah.
and it's like, oh, we're gonna follow this love story, but it is not a happy ending at all.
I just don't like Ryan Gosling, but maybe
I love Ryan Gosling.
Do you really?
Yeah.
I just don't like him.
Why?
I don't know. It's like
Is it because he was in The Notebook?
No,
Did you see the movie Drive?
that's why I don't like him. Drive.
Get out. I love that movie. Is it because he doesn't talk at all?
Yeah,
But
it's
that's
his
part
attitude.
of it.
Like, see,
Listen, within 5 minutes, he's your man. Anything outside of that, he's out. He doesn't carry a gun. He just drives.
it's just so annoying. Just he looks so smug and just like, ugh. Like I'm Ryan Gosling. Like fuck you.
He's got a touch of the tism in that movie.
What is it? Blue Velvet?
No, Blue Valentine.
Blue Valentine.
Yeah, red velvet cake.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna save that.
Do you
But yeah, I like that. I like sad stuff too.
Yeah.
Emo boys.
My favorite rapper is Juice WRLD, and he just talks about wanting to die and doing drugs.
Like Bright Eyes, one of my favorite sad bands.
Yeah. Every like all the music I listen to is all super depressing.
Then, do you think you like being sad on some level?
I think I do. I think it's just feeling something, which is why I like the sad movies. I don't want to watch a bubblegum pop bullshit movie. Oh, it was kind of funny and everything was happy. I like when the main character dies at the end.
But let's revert this back to because you said you like feeling sad. But if you're sad,
I don't know if it's so much sad. I think I just want to feel something.
and maybe you don't feel anything when you watch like a stupid movie like Avengers or something like that.
I mean, I still enjoy those movies, but I'd prefer to watch something and just be like, holy shit, I can't believe that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like something that tugs at your emotions.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Like, one of my favorite movies is Good Time. Super fucked up movie.
Good time.
So this guy has a mentally handicapped brother. Is that the proper term to use? I don't know because it changes.
It's fine.
Okay. A mentally handicapped brother, right?
Yeah.
And he manipulates him into robbing a bank.
Okay.
He gets away, the mentally handicapped brother goes to prison.
Ooh.
And it's just such a fucked up story. And it is so sad.
Yeah.
But I love it.
All right. I'll put that one down too.
Giving you a lot of good movie recommendations. And you know what? Robert Pattinson's in that one. And I was like, the Twilight guy? Fuck this.
Yeah.
But he's awesome. He plays such a good scumbag.
Good time.
Mm-hmm. It's from the same director that did Uncut Gems, A24, that series. And he actually plays the mentally handicapped brother.
Which one's Robert Pattinson?
That one, dude.
Okay.
That's the Twilight guy.
I can just tell I don't like him either.
But he's got blonde hair, bleached blonde hair, and a goatee.
Really good ratings though. 92%.
That's not bad.
It's on Netflix.
Yeah, Netflix, and I think so is Blue Valentine.
All right, got a couple more movies.
Yeah. But for some reason, I always gravitate towards super depressed, fucked up movies.
Yeah. A couple sad boys.
Sad Boys Club. Mm-hmm. Check out our merch store at www.don'thaveawebsite.com.
Is that name taken? Have you checked? Must be, right?
Doubly negative?
No, Sad Boys.
You think you like Sad Boys better?
Well, I like that for merch.
Yeah.
Is that one taken?
I looked it up on Spotify and I didn't see it.
Yeah.
Sad Boys, though. Sad Boys.
You know what's pretty cool? The one I was doing with Chitra, Art of Swiping.
Oh, yep.
We haven't done anything with that for a year or more. But we still have the domain name. And I got an email saying that it's worth like $1,000. Like the domain name, artofswiping.com.
Mm-hmm.
I guess people are looking for it. So maybe we can sell it.
Sell that. We convert this into a studio.
No.
Whatever, dude. Yeah, it doesn't look like Sad Boys is taken as far as podcast goes.
Yeah?
But I already told the guy about the logo.
No. I like Doubly Negative. What about that one?
What do you mean? No, that one's not taken. I already looked that up.
Oh, I just asked you that question.
Yeah. I looked that up before we started. Not taken. But, you know, if we were to do a shirt, just say Sad Boys and like a hand-drawn frowny face.
This brand can go many places.
Yeah. To the moon.
Of course.
It's a super depressing rocket with very lackluster flares.
It's going to take a long time to get to the moon. But it'll get there eventually.
Because everyone's going to wake up and say, no, I don't want to do that today. Yeah.
Not today.
So that's how that's going to go. But we're going to get there.
One day.
And I think we're going to have fun with it.
No.
You want to wrap there?
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. Another great episode.
Yes.
I say another great episode because we have one episode that will not be released till later. I already mentioned that. Stay tuned, pay us money, and we'll give it to you. Bye.
This is life being bound to love.